So yesterday, I had the honor of standing with about 49 other Utahns in defense of net neutrality. I showed up with my iconic American flag, as well as my bullhorn, um, starting and leading chants, inspired by others. I believe Ty Markham was the one who inspired the "Show me what democracy looks like." Internet's what democracy looks like. Um, I made up Ajit Pai is a terrible guy. I'm kind of proud of that one. We also had Save the Net. Save the Net. For veterans out there who have trained for chemical weapon exposure, I wonder if you will see some of the scary similarities between such a simple idea, save the net, and how disastrous that could be to us reaching each other and mobilizing and being able to band together to fight the systematic, terrible oppression that's being pushed on us in the same tone. Dun, dun, dun. That's the universal sign for gas. Usually you're doing your arms like this and both arms. Gas, 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 gas. And while we were saying, save the net, there were cars that would honk, honk, honk. And I kind of got some flashbacks of when I was in Iraq because there were times where we'd have Humvees and there were threats of chemical exposures, and we'd have to hurry and get in our mop suits, get our protective masks on, and you'd hear horns, honk, 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 save the net, honk, honk, honk. It's amazing the parallels. I didn't realize that as a young soldier who was deployed to the Balkans and the Middle East, that I would one day in my late 30s be standing up for democracy as we know it. Um, but I can't say that I can feel, I mean, I don't know that I can feel any prouder. The people who showed up, I mean, amazing. They put their bodies on the line. It was freaking freezing. I had an Argyle sweater. I had a hoodie on top of that. I had a T-shirt on top of the hoodie. I had a beanie, and I had some cold weather gloves. And after an hour of being out there, my fingers were actually starting to turn numb. So the people who didn't dress as appropriately as me, and they still stayed out there for as long, some people even longer than me. Um, I salute you. You are awesome. You are my heroes. It takes all voices. You don't need to agree with me, but you know, when we are in a foxhole, I will honor your decision to fight with me and to fight the oppressors with me. I don't need to agree with you on every point. In fact, I hope that we can actually have intellectual discourse where we can disagree and where we can play with ideas, where we can flesh out ideas, and that we shouldn't just agree because it feels good to agree. And sure, it does feel good to agree. It's nice to have friends that you agree with and that you can just laugh. But we live in terrible times. We live in incredibly oppressive times. And if we aren't prepared to do what is right, we are going to find ourselves in much worse times. And I'm afraid that as it stands now, we really don't have the amount of voices that we need to be able to wrangle control of our government in a means in which is rational and can move forward in a manner in which is going to help humanity and help society, but instead will actually take away from it and is a detriment from it. Um, and so I just hope that all those who stood with me, all those who were part of the almost 700 pop up protests to support net neutrality, I hope every single one of you considers running for office. I hope that you consider using powerful tools like Our Voice, which you can get for Android and iPhone right now. You can also go to ourvoiceusa.org and you can update your candidate information there. Therefore, and that way you can have voters get connected to you in a means to help augment and support grassroots runs. I don't care if you're a right winger, I don't care if you're a leftist, I don't care if you're a centrist. If you're a grassroots, chances are you have some fundamental principles that are much better than the corporatists who masquerade as Republicans and who masquerade as Democrats, but in fact are nothing more than pawns to the oligarchy that, as Bernie Sanders, love him or hate him, gave a very valid warning that what is most detrimental to our society now is an international oligarchical group that controls this society with their money, much the same way, if you've ever seen the TV show Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it's like Hydra. And so, if we don't have a grassroots overthrow of our government, we're never going to be able to reclaim our democracy. And let me ask you one thing. For those of you who have the aptitude, who have the ability, who have the means to run for office, I want you to envision one person that you just cannot stand, who you may be able to run against. Somebody who, whether it be, again, on the left, on the right, in the center, and I want you to consider all that corporate cash that's gone in their pockets, all that corporate cash that has enabled their anti-democratic views. And I want you to consider how you running for office can turn all of that into ashes in their mouth, and how glorious a day that will be. Again, ourvoiceusa.org. These are powerful tools that you can use free of charge because we care about democracy. Thank you.